And there's that. Okay, here we go. Oh, shit. Okay, it's going. Here we go, everybody. Sit back, relax, and enjoy as we do a brand new TMS starting right now.
My mom said you can come over and swim, but if you shit in the pool again, you're going to have to go to church with us in the morning as a punishment.
A mayonnaise man likes mayonnaise on his bread. Can a mayonnaise man have mayonnaise on his bread, please?
This is the morning stream, doing it for Kowalski.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to TMS. Oh, that didn't work. Wrong one. There we go. The volume would not move for me.
Blue button, Scott.
Welcome to TMS, everybody. It is Thursday, July 7th, 2022. I'm Scott Johnson. That's Brian Ibbett. Hi, Brian Ibbett.
Oh, hello.
Hey, man. We were talking in pre-show how it's Thor's Day. It's Ragnarok, or Love and Thunder Day.
Love and Thunder Day, yes.
Yeah, and
two Thors enter, one Thor leaves.
That's right.
It's Beyond Thunder Day.
That's right. It's Battle Royale. You never asked for, but you're getting it. Wait a minute. So what time's your viewing? What's your
6:30, 6:50.
Do you eat before or after?
Before. There's a Chewy's Mexican restaurant that is right next to one of those that just came in from, just got shipped in from Austin, Texas.
Mm-hmm. Fresh, hot off the grill.
Chewy's is great. Chewy's is so good.
My wife went there while she was in Austin. She loved it. She thought it was amazing. Wish we'd get them here.
I'm hoping they keep expanding west for you, because I'm hoping you guys get one there. We've got 3 in town here, I believe, and there's always a wait. That's how popular they are, and they've been open for years. So they're,
they've earned their place.
Still popular. Exactly. It isn't just the initial, hey, new restaurant, we got to go there and check it out. It's it's still a lot of people making lots of waits.
I forgot to tell you this yesterday, but we went to a Smash Burger the other day, Kim and I. And that place is a nightmare. I don't know what happened.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, it's real bad. They had like 2 guys working there. Neither of the managers. I watched 3 couples demand refunds because they were waiting either too long or got the wrong food. Yeah, 3 in a row. So they were all stacked up. This guy's, I want to talk to your manager. He goes, well, I guess I kind of am that for today.
Oh, no. That's always a bad sign.
Yeah, it sounded to me like things were in complete disarray. And so I went.
I guess that might be me.
When we went in there, we waited a while, but we didn't. Whatever. It's fine. I could tell that they're overworked and understaffed. Yeah. And so they gave us, we ordered, we split 2 things. We said, all right, we'll get a turkey burger, cut that in half, and we'll also get a salad and cut that in half. And normally their salads are great, and also I really like their burgers, and typically I do. They come out, bring it to the table. That's how they do it with a little stand-up thing. And it's like, oh, thanks for bringing that and whatever. And like, oh, wait, they didn't bring any dressing. Okay, cool, no problem. I'll go back there and ask for it. So I go there and ask for it. I'm waiting, and actually 2 of the people in front of me are 2 of the 4 who get refunds. When they finally get done, the guy's looking at me like, uh-oh. And I said, hey, we just didn't get any dressing. Can we grab that? And he goes, oh, yeah, hang on a second. He runs in the back, comes out front. What kind did you want? I said, oh, well, what do you have? He says, oh, I think ranch and the blue cheese one. And I said, oh, blue cheese. That sounds great because it's Cobb salad. That sounds good.
Yeah.
He goes, blue cheese, right? And I said, yeah. He goes, okay. He goes, run to the back, comes back out and says, you just want the blue cheese, right? Just the blue cheese? I said, yeah, that's the one. Goes back in the back. Comes out with 2 of these little cups, and at first glance, I'm like, "Oh, we got it." They look like it's full of white dressing.
Yeah.
And he sets them on the counter, and they're just 2 cups of clumps of.
Oh, like the
blue
dry,
cheese.
Like the crumbles, blue cheese crumbles.
Yeah, it's the crumbles, not any sort of dressing. And I looked at those, and I looked at him, and I saw in his eyes a struggling creature who was ready to die, and I said, thanks, and I took him to the table because I couldn't bear to tell him he was wrong again after all this stuff they were going through. So we kind of didn't eat.
I don't know what was going to happen. I don't know how he was going to haul a ranch in there if you had asked for that. But
yeah, it was bad. And so I don't know what's going on there. But somebody on Twitter said, "Look, I'm in a business that studies like the current state of retail and service and stuff."
Yeah. Yeah.
He says people don't talk about it very much, but we're in the middle of what is kind of like a soft launch strike, he says.
Oh.
He says what that means is like you'll have underpaid workers just not coming in, managers refusing to work because they can't keep employees around. And it's mostly in these industries, right? And saying that they were so overworked and so underappreciated during the pandemic, with all of that going on, plus expected to be there every day during the worst of the pandemic, that they're just kind of burnt. They're all burnt out. And that this is just a sign of like this soft strike that's happening. Like everybody's just kind of like, meh, I'm not going, I'm not doing, I'm not, like that whole thing. So it feels like it's a little bit of like what we ran into when I told you the story. We went to the Red Robin, and they were like 3 people and said they couldn't take a table bigger than 4 or whatever, that whole thing. I think there's something to it. There's something going on.
Yeah, there definitely is. I mean, people are saying, pay a living wage and maybe you'll get, better employees or people show up to work. And I'd kind of say it's a snake eating its tail, because the problem is a lot of places still aren't up to full customer capacity like they were pre-2020.
Yeah.
So they're not making enough money. They're having to raise their prices, which is turning customers away even more and making it harder to hire, good workers. It's like, I don't know what the solution is, because it's the problem that is feeding itself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so it goes like this. Adhesive Wombat has a pretty good comment in here. He says in the chat, the social contract is crumbling. Why work if you still can't afford to live? It's a really great question.
Yeah.
Red Fraggle says, expecting people to put up with people's shit job without put up with people's shit pay. I mean, yeah, that's basically
true.
it.
No, I mean, I would be the same thing. I'd be, I would be frustrated if I was an employee right now trying to, if I was a manager or an employee trying to stay at a job where I'm not getting paid enough or not being able to keep good people. I took somebody in my Lyft yesterday who is an owner of a bar in downtown Denver. And he says, yeah, I'm just exhausted. I've been coming off my 4th or 5th double shift in a row because I'm training people that leave in a week.
Yeah.
That basically decide that they can do better or they want to try and do better somewhere else. And so he spends his time training somebody and doing his regular management job probably, and also serving customers.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot, man.
It is a lot. So I don't know what the solution is.
I know what it is. Here's what it is. All of these companies keep posting record profits. How is that possible? And they can't pay their people living wages. I don't know. Like, I don't want to soapbox this too much, but basically, like, Exxon posting like record profits, more money than they've ever made. Okay, well, why is gas prices so high? Like, yeah, they can all blame it on us all they want, but at the end of the day, when like McDonald's says, sorry, we have to raise everything. Everything's going up. It's just, I'm sorry, it's the pandemic and it's supply chain. And then they turn right around and post quarterly profits that are like unreasonably high and higher than they've ever been. Freaking bullshit.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
That's the answer. You got to let loose a little bit up at the top, boys. You can't maintain this. You can't sustain it.
I know. Yeah.
Anyway.
Who knows? I mean, maybe what's going to happen from this, or some of these places are going to close. The poor performing ones that can't bring people in because with other attractions like better food or better customer service or whatever, they'll just shut down, making people have to go to other places, increasing the number of people that can go there, increasing the customer base, and maybe that's the solution, right? We've just got too many. Maybe we've got too many garbage restaurants, and they just need to close. They just need to die.
Well, there is that whole, the bubble concept, right? Things are just, it's like too much, so you got to pull back, and making common people do the pulling back. That's effed up. Y'all need to. You're all billionaires. Let a little bit loose. You'll be fine. No big deal.
I'm ready for Taco Bell just to win the fast food wars, and all the other fast food places just go away.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I like Taco Bell.
I drove somebody yesterday. I did Lyft for quite a while yesterday. I drove somebody who was a Door Dasher, and I said, "Oh, does that give you kind of an advantage to knowing like which restaurants are better because more people order from them.
Yeah.
She says, yeah, like I had 35 orders for Firehouse subs in the last 3 days.
Oh my gosh.
And it's easily the place that she goes to the most. And I said, oh, so, I guess that might indicate that it's the most popular, i.e., it's the best of the the faster places that you can go to. She's like, no, it's just really close and has the shortest time in Grubhub or DoorDash or whichever app it was in.
So that's not,
okay.
yeah. I guess it doesn't indicate what you would think
Right.
it would indicate, but
if you open up the DoorDash app and you see Firehouse subs deliver in 15 minutes, and then this other place, like a much better sub shop or sandwich shop, delivers in 45. It's like, well, do I want 45 minutes for a better sandwich, or do I want food now?
you want food now. I bet you always err on the side of I want food now. I'll bet. That's a really good point.
I mean, Firehouse subs is good.
Oh, they are good, yeah.
I would rank them high above Subway and even Quiznos, but I still put them under. I think I still put them under Jersey Mike's, and if you can find a Blimpies, holy cow, so much.
Blimpies.
Blimpies is so much right at the top of that list.
I miss them so bad.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing that they left and never came back, those bastards.
It really is, yeah.
Well, anyway, so here we are solving the world's problems once again. Economics 101 here with TMS. Professor Ibbett and Professor Johnson now retiring with our 401k and our tenure.
That's
all right. Let's
yes. All right.
I tell you the story. I was at the pool yesterday, and just to get a little quick getaway, Kim and I ran over there. And it was we go at a time when we're trying to minimize how many people are there, because I don't want to. I just COVID aside, I just don't want to be jammed into a pool with a bunch of people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Kind of hate it. So we went around 4, which is usually a pretty good time to do it. People are packed up and left to go start doing dinner things. People are commuting, whatever. So it's just kind of a good time to go. We get there, and it's sure enough pretty good. And out there swimming, and I see somebody in this one of the lanes. Like they have this lane split off for some reason still, even though no one's swimming lanes. It's just people are spread out. And I see this guy in there. I'm like, he looks familiar. I don't know who that is. And then he waves at me like this, and he's got goggles on. I'm like, I don't know who that is. And Kim goes, oh, I think that's Tesla. That's our neighbor.
Oh.
And I went, oh, it's Tesla. All right. Okay. So
Tesla man. Nice.
Yeah, and we're all getting along. So he's a cool guy. And, we've talked since, had that barbecue in 2020. Everything's good.
Yeah.
And so then, we're just kind of swimming. And then when we get out of the pool, we're like, oh, he's in the chair right next to our chair. We haven't been, we haven't talked to him in a long time. I guess we'll go over there and we'll sit down and we'll talk to the guy. And he's over there with his son. And his son's been swimming. And Kim, of course, immediately opens a cooler and offers the kid a frozen something,
Of course she does.
Of course she does. She always has something at the ready. Anyway, just sat there and talked to Tesla for a while and found out that Tesla has on occasion listened to the show.
Oh.
And he's not listening probably today because he currently is working a shift where this is way too early. And so he's still getting his beauty sleep right now. And he only does stuff on Twitch. So he doesn't do podcasts. He only does like Twitch viewing and not VODs. So really we could say whatever we want. But shout out to Tesla because we came up with a plan last night on the spot for a neighborhood barbecue in the back alley over there where he and I homes sort of face each other. And we're going to all get together and we're going to pull out the barbecue. We're going to make amazing food and invite a bunch of people. And it's going to be great. So I guess what I'm saying is we took the poo incident of 2015 and look at it now. Look now.
It is so far behind you that you can't even see it in the distance.
Nope.
It's just that that far back. That's awesome. Look at you.
Yeah, look at us.
So is it going to be like it's going to be a kind of a block party thing? Or are you going to invite other neighbors?
Yeah, we'll do probably like everybody on both sides of this. So back in front of the same street is what we'll probably do. We did that in 2020, and it was great, actually, because, I don't know, everybody was feeling weird, and everything was shut down, and we're like, why don't we all do this neighbor thing? And it was pretty good. So we're going to do that and, just have a nice, I don't know, thing.
Good.
It'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The summit.
Yeah.
the peace treaty.
The peace treaty.
That's awesome. That's really cool. We did, God, it was years ago we did a kind of block party, and it was great to kind of get to know all the neighbors, and then we were planning on doing a second one in the summer of 2020, and that one kind of fell through. And we really haven't not only have we not planned another one, but we've kind of like all that goodwill and camaraderie feels like it's dissipating. Not that we're hating our other neighbors,
No.
but we just kind of we don't pull over, roll down our window and say, "Hey, TK, how you doing, man? How's things going?"
Yeah.
We just kind of wave as we drive through the neighborhood, just like yeah.
I think that's kind of a state things are in, you know? Like,
I
we're
think
all
so.
doing that. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm doing that for sure. I'm like,
Yeah.
I have so many online friends that when I go offline, I kind of don't want to talk to anybody. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
What's his name up the street wants to do this? Really? Because I thought I'd just lay here. You know? Like, I don't know. It's a weird. We're in a weird moment.
Well,
everybody, weird
We're
time.
in a weird moment. Hey,
Yep.
did you book? We were talking about this earlier, or maybe it was last week. Did you book your booster? We were talking about booking boosters, and I haven't booked.
I booked my booster,
yet
but
either.
it is booked. It's booked
You did book your booster.
It's either booked for tomorrow or the following Friday. I cannot remember which.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'll
then I'm
find
going
out
to get
from
mine
Kim.
in, and
Then we'll be twinners.
tomorrow means how are you going to feel? I guess you haven't felt any issues.
No, I felt like with the first one, I think I felt
Yeah.
a little tired, but I also feel that way a lot anyway. So I don't know if that was even attributable to that. I think I'm immune to side effects from the vaccines. But maybe
Sure.
not. Maybe I'll get this booster and it'll all go to hell. I don't know. I have no idea.
You are sticking with the same one. You're Moderna as well?
No, the Pfizer. Yeah, I'm with the
Pfizer!
I'm with the Germans.
Okay.
Always with the Germans.
Yeah, Pfizer.
So, is there some? I heard something about if you could choose, and it doesn't matter at this point. I could go Moderna if I wanted to, right? It wouldn't
Sure.
do anything, and it's not, and maybe that's a better one. I don't know what the deal is.
Who knows? Because maybe that's, because I've been doing Moderna. Maybe Moderna, I mean, really, it like everybody you talk to, you ask 10 people, you get 10 different responses of how things have affected them. Like, oh, yeah, no, the booster was fine. It was like the second COVID shot, the first set was is what knocked me on my butt. So,
Well, according to GoodRx Health,
yes.
the key takeaways of the question, which is the best COVID-19 booster, Pfizer, Moderna, or Johnson & Johnson, it says, COVID-19 booster shots are available for everyone. Okay, many people are now eligible, blah.
Yes.
There are a few,
SEO in the works right there.
yeah, that's what they got going there. Let's see if they come to a conclusion here. Does it make a difference if... Oh, pregnant. Hold on. Let's see. Sticking with the same vaccine. Okay, if you originally got the J&J... You could get one of these other two, but if you got the Pfizer, stick with the Pfizer. If you got Moderna, stick with the Moderna, it says.
There you go.
Okay. I'll
Cool.
take this random website's advice.
Yeah, exactly. Good RX. Well, sure, they would know because they're good RX.
That's right. It doesn't say bad RX. It says
Right.
good.
All
Well, let me tell you something.
I'm going to book mine for tomorrow then,
Okay, yeah, I think... I'll have to check with Kim.
and then we'll
She
see how
told
I'm
me.
feeling for a film sack Saturday morning.
Yeah, yours... How long did it take for you to get kind of hit with it? Do you remember?
It was the next afternoon. So I had the shot the afternoon of day 1 and then the afternoon of day 2. So I guess 24 hours, and then it lasted like 8 hours after that.
Oh,
So
okay. Not too
yeah.
bad.
I just decided, I want to get this done before I go to Vegas. I want to get it done 2 weeks before I go to Vegas. Is the key.
Because now that BA Barakus 2 or whatever, 5 or whatever it is, variant that's going
pity
on,
the fool who gets my virus.
that thing is like super... its key marker is that it's very, very, very contagious. So this would be
Right.
the time to do it if you can.
Yeah, exactly.
And we want to I want to be done just before my anniversary stuff. So anyway.
Yeah, for your
My
trip
deal.
and all that stuff.
Yeah, my big deal. Hey, look
Holy
at
cow,
this.
I'm just realizing your birthday's coming up soon.
Yeah, like what, next week?
Next week, I need to get your present out to you. I have a present for you.
You shouldn't.
You're like,
send me
oh,
anything.
Brian, whatever. Shut up. I'm sending you a present. I'm sending you a present that I bought months ago saying, oh my God, that is the perfect thing for Scott. And I've been sitting on it, and I hopefully haven't lost it.
Yeah.
I hope it's still where I left it. And
Oh, that next week is interesting. I gotta talk to Kim. I think we may have to do a bonus episode of Film Sack on the 16th.
oh, really? Okay. You guys
No,
are doing
wait.
something
I'm
Saturday
sorry, on
night.
the 9th. Yeah, so we'd have to this weekend. We'd have to do a bonus half-hour watch-along or something.
Oh.
Because I don't think I'm here that Saturday. The 17th, I mean, or not 17th, 16th.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll
Okay.
figure it out. But yes, my birthday's coming up, and I hate birthdays, so
You do.
Here you
So
go.
nobody, whatever you do not wish him a happy birthday.
Whatever.
Wish him the opposite.
Yeah.
Say, I hope your day is horrible, Mr. Birthday Hater.
I wanted to mention a tweet I did about someone keeps saying age is just a number, and I said, you're right. Age is just a number, and the progressive deterioration of cellular constitution. It's both of those things. It can be both those things. It's both a number.
Yeah, sure.
It's both a number and the process of the body starting to lose its ability to reproduce cells where it needs to, and that sort of thing. It's just the way it works.
That's the way it works.
Here's a quick email from Amy in Canada, who says, "Good morning, Scotius and Brianicus."
Would that be Amy Frost?
I don't know. Might be.
Because I believe she is an Amy in Canada.
She is a Canadian. You're right, and she is an Amy, but I'm not sure
she
this
is an
her.
Amy. Yeah, she's both of those things. Anyway, all right, never
It
mind.
says, Scoticus and Brianicus. Last night I decided to take the initiative and meditate in bed. I got all comfy and cozy and brought up this very soothing YouTube video. The narrator's voice was so calm and relaxing. About 15 minutes in, I am well on my way to a state of nirvana when my cat jumped up on my bed. Nothing unusual about that until she stepped on my phone and somehow hit my widget for the latest podcast. I was listening to my screen, I was listening to...
No. Holy cow. Fix that floater, man. No.
What did I
somehow hit my widget for the last podcast I was listening to.
Oh, listening to. My screen was on because YouTube won't let me lock my phone. Okay, there. Now I get it.
Yep.
It is. I have a floater problem, everybody.
I know.
It's pretty
you do,
bad.
yes.
Fix that floater. I'll get T-shirts made.
Don't read Vanity stories for a little while.
Yeah. It says it was then that yesterday's episode intro blasted into my eardrums at full volume, and I almost had a code brown in bed. I thought you and Brian would get a kick out of the story. Love the show, bro. Amy from Canada.
Oh, man.
So what was our intro? I guess it had been yesterday?
Yeah, we were talking about well, I know we weren't talking about meditating. What were we talking about that would... I don't think this is related to something we talked about. I think this is just
the intro of the
I see.
show.
What was the intro to yesterday's? I'm sorry, yes.
Let me find out.
I mean, it was the fact that yesterday's intro was just us going... Coming up on this episode of TMS, pancakes with a side of concussion.
Oh, right.
College.
Good point. That's the thing is I don't know what she means by intro, but let's see if we can catch it here. Here
It's
we
just
go.
us yelling is what
Pancakes
it is.
with a side of concussion.
I dabbled in college.
One-toothed mayo man.
Does the Nile reach into England?
Hold on. Hello, everybody. Welcome to TMS, the morning stream. It is... Wait, what was the...
It was a name.
I came home and my wife had a whole meal.
Oh, it's that
Oh,
guy.
the pancakes guy. Yeah.
It's the pancakes guy.
But that wasn't... No, I think the intro... I mean, it was just that we were talking at a volume that was higher than the meditation podcast that she was listening to.
Oh, so that's all it was. Okay.
That's all it was. Just us...
So we just barged into her,
yeah,
her
we
serenity.
were just, you're sitting by a very soothing, relaxing stream.
Okay.
Pancakes!
Yeah, pancakes! We gave her a not so soothing, or not such, serenity not now is what we gave
Right,
her.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
That's what you get. Okay. Hey, look at this.
Yeah.
Amy's
Yeah.
coming in hot.
Yeah.
Hold on. I always
Okay,
type Amy
all right.
in here, and I'm not supposed to. It's Red Fraggle. I don't know why I do that. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
we're going to have a little read me time, and, that's good. Sit down and pull out a book and read. Yes, it's time for Read This with Amy. Amy Robinson joins us all the way from the beautiful South here in America. Hello, Amy. Welcome.
Good morning, everybody. How
Good
are you
morning.
guys doing?
Morning.
Good. Hey, you know what you need to
Good.
do? So, how's your COVID deal? You good?
Yeah,
you
how
all
are you
good?
feeling? Is your
Oh.
Kathleen Turner voice gone? It sounds like it. Darn it.
Yeah, it's mostly gone. Like, it comes and goes. So, yeah, I had a good, every once in a while it gets a little scratchy back there and I get a
Oh, yeah.
little,
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
yeah.
you can kind of position it into the back. Like,
I like it. You're not.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah.
not-
It
you're not
depends on the level of phlegm for that day. you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Phlegm level. Always check your phlegm level. I always say.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, I was going to ask you. You're in Georgia, right? You're in Georgia. The great
Yes,
state of
yes,
Georgia.
I
The peach state or whatever they call it. What is it? What do they call it?
Yep. The Peach State.
The peach state.
Yep.
And boy, they sure like to remind us every time they show us credits for a movie that it was filmed there because there's a giant peach logo. But anyway,
Right.
Because there's a butt on the
Every
screen.
every
The
Ms.
butt?
Marvel right there. Like, oh, is there going to be a stinger? No,
No,
it was
just a peach butt.
No,
just a peach
it's just
butt.
a butt. Yeah.
But despite all of that and all the wonderful things that come out of the beautiful state of Georgia, you really got to do something about that Marjorie Taylor Greene. Just put her in a.
Oh my God.
You got to do something. Just do something with her. I don't know what it is. Just like, put her in a box, lock her down somewhere, keep her strapped in. I don't know what it is, but something. Okay.
Well, thankfully she's not running unopposed this time, which she did last time. But I am not in her district, both thankfully and
and literally,
unfortunately, because I cannot vote or do anything about her.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's embarrassing.
She's really embarrassing.
Honestly, I wish everybody would just stop talking about her, because at this point she's been stripped of her committees, right? So she can't actually do anything except like go out and make a lot of noise, right?
Yeah,
and
stir
so
up
if
a bunch
everybody
of
would
shit.
stop paying attention to her.
That's a good point. You know what? Me bringing her up gave her too much stage.
Yeah.
It's my fault today. I did it.
That's my thing is like, okay, what is the favorite thing of people on that side of the aisle, right? Like they love owning the libs, right? So that's literally all she does at this point. And so they love her, right? And she's probably going to get reelected because we keep paying attention to her acting the fool.
Yeah.
So,
She just says such terrible things sometimes. She said that stuff about the shooting yesterday about, the usual false flag bullshit. And I'm like, oh yeah, all these people dead. Go ahead and just go ahead and pee on their graves, and you're just a big piece of shit.
Person.
I don't care about her politics even. Just go away.
I like that there's not a challenge for like who's worse. It's like a tie between her and Bobert as to who's worse. So I can commiserate with you, Amy, because we have our own Marjorie Taylor Greene here in Colorado.
You guys go every other day. It's either Bobert or her that's saying the worst possible thing.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're horrible people.
Yeah.
But I have stories. It's story time.
It's story time.
Land.
Gather around, everybody, at the feet of Amy. She's going to tell a story.
It is. This is really, really timely because Scott, you were talking about like sort of kicking yourself out of bed the other day, and you're always talking about crazy dreams. So I have two fun stories about that.
All right.
So while I had COVID and while I was super, super sick, at first, when I first tested positive, Chuck still tested negative. So we were trying to do the whole isolate in the house thing. And so I was sleeping in the bed. Chuck was sleeping downstairs on the couch with the dogs and all of that. And so I had my little cuddly stuffed animals, one of which I bought out at Meow Wolf in Vegas. It was like cool. the fuzzy hot pink weird monster head looking thing.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was all cuddled, and I had my little fluffy bunny, and I was cuddled there because the bed's too big if Chuck's not there. So anyway, then finally Chuck actually ended up catching it too, and so he comes back and we're sleeping in the bed together and everything. And I was like, okay, Stuffies, you guys go back in your little shelf over there. Well, apparently, in my Ambien-induced haze 2 nights ago, Chuck was still reading his book, but I was out. But I decided all of a sudden I needed my stuffies. And so I threw the covers off and I stomped out of bed and I ambled over there like a cross between Quasimodo and Agra from the Dark Crystal and grabbed I just stomped over there, grabbed my stuffies, and then stumbled back to bed. And Chuck just he was just sitting there reading and just looked up from his book and just watched me and was like, all right.
All in a haze.
Yeah. Well, and that was the funny thing was I woke up that morning and there were my stuffies. And I was like, oh, did I have a bad dream or something? And Chuck bring me my stuffies?
Oh.
And he goes, no, dude, let me tell you what you did. He was like, I was actually scared that you were going to hurt yourself.
Right. Chuck, you're supposed to not tell her that and just act like you were the awesome guy that brought her stuff. That's what he should have done.
Oh no, I love those stories. So then the other story I had is my dream last night. See, all these dreams are just completely crazy because COVID plus Ambien plus occasionally NyQuil if I'm feeling particularly stuffy. It makes for good stuff.
Oh yeah.
So last night, do you guys ever dream about being in the house you grew up in?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, tons. Yeah.
All the time.
It's so weird. Yeah. So in the house I grew up in, my bedroom was like downstairs it wasn't really the basement, it was just the downstairs. And so I had a dream that I was there in that house in my bedroom down there, and my stepdad had like taken over the whole bottom floor except for my room, including the bathroom. And so I got up and I was like, okay, I have to go to the bathroom. And I go in there and there are 2 baby hippos in the toilet.
All right. Where they belong, those damn hippos.
So I'm pretty sure
Wow.
your dream deck does not have that, but you know. And like,
Hippos in the toilet. No, that's under. That's like the 8th card back. Yeah, it's right there.
right, yeah. Oh, God, it was so weird. So the first thing I did was call my mom this morning. I was like, do you tell JR he cannot put his hippos in my toilet? Thank you.
Yeah, don't do
Was
that.
there a little jungle cruise boat floating around in there with them, about to shoot them?
Well, that could have been in the tub. So that's what I said to Chuck
yeah.
later. I was like, why would he put him in the toilet when there's a perfectly good tub right there?
Yeah.
And I said, I didn't think to look what might have been in the tub. And he was like, well, that was a missed opportunity.
Ma'am,
It's the
said,
backside
"Damn
of
it."
water is in the tub, clearly, yeah.
you're dreaming like
Right.
me these days. That's amazing. Well,
Exactly.
I don't have a good
Yeah.
excuse. I don't got any drugs at night or any kind of like COVID to try to treat with anything. So I'm just like, I got my brain's weird. I don't know what's wrong with my brain. I still don't know what
Yeah.
I was dreaming when I fell out of the bed, except Kim says I yelled something and she doesn't know what. She doesn't know what I said, but I yelled something. I was like, bah!
Abandoned ship!
Yeah. Yeah, we're like Picard in that episode where the ship keeps blowing up between commercials. It was like that a little bit.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, well, Amy, it's nice to have you here.
All right.
Let's do some
Yeah.
reading here. What'd you bring?
Let's do some reading. Okay, so I wanted to try. I sent you a message about this, so I wanted to try and do the little share my screen thing. So we're gonna give this a try.
Oh,
Okay.
Wow.
Because today's book, everybody likes it when I read. I just read it live. So I'm gonna we're doing a nice, light, fun kids book today. So I thought I would just like do the thing where we can see the.
Ooh, do we get pictures too? Are you gonna like turn the
Yes.
pages
There
for
it
us? I
is.
love
Look
it.
at
All right,
this.
Yes.
cool.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Okay. Oh, good. Yeah, you can see
Yeah,
it.
totally
Okay, cool.
worked.
Cool. All right.
All right, and this passage is the one that my daughter requested. So here we go. We were floating above a landscape of ominous towers and disquieting castles. It was not a friendly place. Bats flew across the sky in huge flocks, crowding out the waning moon. I don't like this place, I told the professor. I don't see why not, he said. It looks as if it would be very nice when the sun comes up. There was a loud flut, and where the bats had been fluttering, several pallid people were now standing. The man in front had a very bald head. They all had sharp teeth. We are Wumpires, they said. What is this? Who are you? Answer us, or we will vivisect you. I am Professor Steg, boomed the Stegosaurus. This is my assistant. We are on an important mission. I am trying to get back to the present. My assistant is trying to get home to the future for breakfast. At the word breakfast, all the Wumpires looked very excited. We have not had our breakfast, they told us. We normally have wiggly worms with orange juice on them. Orange juice makes worms even wigglier, like wandering spaghetti. But if we cannot eat worms, we will eat assistant, or even roast professor. One of the Wumpires took out a fork and looked me up and down in a hungry sort of way. The baldest, most bulging-eyed, rattiest of the Wumpires said, "What is this box?" "It is my finest invention," began Professor Steg proudly, but I interrupted. "It is to keep sandwiches in," I said. "Sandwiches?" said the Wumpire. "Sandwiches," I said, with as much certainty as I could muster. "We thought it was a time machine," said the head Wumpire with a sly, sharp smile, "and we could use it to invade the world." "Nope, definitely sandwiches," I told him. "What happens if I press this button then?" asked a lady Wumpire. She had long black hair that covered most of her face and peered out at the world with one suspicious eye. She pressed the button. We went forward 6 hours in time. See? Said the professor happily. All this place needs to brighten it up is a little bit of sunshine. The head Wumpire said, What? And dissolved into a cloud of oily black smoke. So did all his friends. Yes, I said. It is a nice place here, after all, in the daylight. The professor tinkered with the jewels and the string and the buttons. Then he said, I think I've got it properly fine-tuned now. This next press should bring you back to your own time, place, and breakfast. But before the tip of his tail could touch the button, a voice said, I'll explain later. Fate of the world at stake. A hand grabbed, and the milk, which I had carried safely for so long, was gone. I turned in time to catch a glimpse of a fine-looking gentleman with his back to me, holding my milk. And then the hole in space through which he had reached was closed. My milk! He said he'd explain later, said the professor. I'd be inclined to believe him. The hole in space opened again. A voice shouted, Catch! And the milk came rocketing through. Fortunately, the milk struck me in the stomach, and in clutching my hands to my belly, I caught the milk. There, said the professor. Everything's back to normal. Well, he did say he'd explain later, I pointed out, and that wasn't much of an explanation. Well, it's not later yet. It's still now. It won't be later until later. He was arranging pebbles and stones and string on the top of the time machine box. Final coordinates entered, he said. And then it's off to your house for breakfast.
Does that mean that there is a stegosaurus in a hot air balloon outside?
I asked my dad. There is not. For reasons that will become apparent.
I think that there should have been some nice Wumpires, said my sister wistfully. Nice, handsome, misunderstood Wumpires.
There were not, said my father.
Yeah. That's great. I love that.
Scene.
What's the book?
This book is called Fortunately the Milk. It's written by Neil Gaiman and illustrated by Scotty Young.
Yeah,
nice.
which is great. I love Scotty Young's art. So this is such a perfect storm combination between these two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's really great. And that's kind of why I wanted to see if I could do the screen share thing. I'm so glad that worked out. Yay. But because, the illustrations are really half the fun of this book, and it's really fun. The reason I have the digital copy that I can share like that is because I actually did sort of a 3-part bedtime story thing for my cousin's kids early on in the pandemic. And and they're like, 5-6 years old. And so they dug it. So, and it's a really fun little book. It is kind of long. Like it takes a little over an hour to read it all if you read it like me. Like they're all, silly and dramatic about it. But,
Right.
if you're reading it to kids, that's what's fun. So I usually try and break it up into little 20-minute chunks and go like, oh, we'll find out what happens tomorrow,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a super fun little book. It would be great for like you to sit and read with Van, Scott.
Oh
or,
yeah,
like,
he'd love it. I don't think I can do the voice any justice like you did, but I could try. I could definitely try.
Do you have to when you're reading books to kids, do you have to look ahead to see who's talking before you start? Oh, like I need to do this voice. Oh, I'm doing Professor McGonagall's voice. No, I'm doing Ron's voice. Because sometimes if it just starts with the quote, you're like, and then the
Right. Yes, I have had to do that. Now this book I've read it enough times that I kind of know who's who. But
sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
especially with the Wumpires because all the V's and the W's are changed, and that's what makes them fun.
Yeah, I'd stumble all over those. I was noticing you were handling those very deftly. So well done.
Yeah, it was funny. I told my daughter that I was going to do this book today, and she said, "Oh, do the part with the Wumpires." So I was like, all right, I'll do the part with the Wumpires. Here you go.
Nice.
Very nice. By the way, Scotty Young, who I knew from his I Hate Fairyland work, I didn't know this, so now I got to go find it. But in August 2021, he relaunched that work via Substack newsletter. You can just go sub to the thing. I'm going to go do that. Oh, and then I guess it later gets compiled into a full image release, but still, that's pretty rad. That guy's awesome. I love his work.
Mm-hmm.
My
He's
daughter
really good.
just came in here with a bag from Dunkin' Donuts. And
All right then.
there's
do you need to go?
munchkins in here. No,
I gotta go. I gotta eat all these. No, that's very nice. What a nice gesture that I wouldn't be able to eat if I was there. That's super,
Right?
super cool. It's really good.
Chuck
cool.
just heard me say that and came popping into my office too. So
Oh yeah. Chuck doesn't
everybody's
need.
got donuts.
You don't have to remind him twice. Well, that's fantastic. Go check it out. Again, that book. Give it the title one more time.
It is called Fortunately the Milk by Neil Gaiman.
Neil Gaiman, available wherever books are sold, both digital and physical and audio for that matter. Or I assume it's on audio. Maybe it's not audible. An audiobook, right?
Oh,
Maybe not.
there is an audiobook version.
Oh, there is.
You know,
Okay.
I haven't heard it because I always just read it myself.
I was going to say, there's no way whoever's reading it does a better job than you. So
Yeah.
Aw, thank
You're
you.
making it in real time.
That's right.
Well, Amy, it's always a pleasure. I hope your week is as good as this one. Or what am I trying to say? I hope you keep feeling better is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's a gradual thing. I kind of likened it to, you know how you have a bouncy ball and you like slam it at the ground,
Yeah.
and like it speeds towards the ground, right? Because you
Right.
throw it. So that's like the getting sick part. Like you get sick really quickly, and then once you start getting better, you get better a lot really quickly. But then as gravity starts to take over, it slows down until you finally get completely better. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm at that slow, like every
Gotcha.
day is a little bit gradually better than the day before, but I'm still not 100%. I would say in Brian's terms, I'm probably about 83%.
Oh,
that's good.
it's not bad. Yeah. I never feel 80. I don't know what my baseline is. That's the problem. Is you got to pick a baseline and then be 83% of that. I think my baseline
exactly.
is 83% of the rest of the world's 100%. You know what I'm
You
saying?
can't assume how other people feel.
I have
Scott.
no
We're all
idea for
sitting
sure.
there- We're all at 83% of what we perceive other people to be.
That
so.
may be. But my whole point is like, if I start there and do my own percentage, well then yeah, I'm right now I'm at 100, but it's somebody else's 80. You know, that's just how it is. It's somebody else's 60.
I'm at 83 of my normal, which whatever the heck
Whatever that
for
is, right.
Other people. Yeah.
It's a moving target is the problem.
Yeah,
Anyway,
exactly.
Amy, it's always good to talk to you. Have a fantastic week. We'll see you next time.
See you, Amy.
Bye now. All right. Well, we've done all we can do there.
Cool.
We got time for a
Cool.
little bit of news, so let's do it. Today's news is brought to you by
Brought to you by Coverville. Yes, there will be a double cover story Coverville today, featuring the music of John Waite. He had a big hit in the 80s called Missing You. Missing You.
Oh, yeah.
But he was also a member of the Babies and Bad English, so lots of cover material there, although not a lot of covers of Bad English. So really focusing on the Babies and John Waite's solo career. We'll also be looking at Laura Branigan, who had her probably biggest hit, a song called Gloria, was actually a cover. But we'll look at her music, Self-Control. Also, she's done some really cool covers, covering Alphaville's Forever Young, for example.
Oh.
It's crazy. John Waite and Laura Branigan today, Coverville, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, twitch.tv/Coverville. And of course, watch me play some Marvel Snap while we listen to some good music.
Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you do that?
Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah,
Yes.
1 p.m.
Think of all the money I'm saving by not subscribing to any of the PlayStation levels until I get really tired of Marvel Snap.
Yeah, which may never happen. We don't know. The jury's out. 76 million year old dinosaur skeleton to be auctioned off in New York City. So get your wallet ready, everybody. Get ready to throw in your bids. 76 million years old, this dinosaur. Fossilized skeleton of a T-Rex relative that roamed the Earth about 76 million years ago will be auctioned off auctioned off in New York this month. Sotheby's announced on Tuesday the Gorgosaurus?
Gorgosaurus, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's very cool.
Will be the highlight of Sotheby's Natural History auction on July 28th, the auction house said. This beast was an apex carnivore that lived in what is now the western United States and Canada during the late Cretaceous period. It predates its relative, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, by 10 million years. Jeez.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's
for
a
it to
big
be
jump.
such a similar, kind of a similar body type and shape based on skeleton. That's interesting.
Pretty nuts. 10 million years is a long
10
time.
million years. Jeez.
The species or specimen being sold was discovered in 2018 in the Judith River Formation near Harve, Montana.
I think so, yeah. Or Havre.
Havre?
I don't say Havre. Yeah.
Probably Havre.
You guys pronounce it like Favre, right? It's
Yeah.
spelled like Favre.
Yeah. Assume it's Harve. I don't know.
Harve, Montana.
Measures nearly 10 feet, 3 meters tall, and 22 feet long, which is about 6.7 meters long. Anyway, if you want to do this, you can buy it. They're estimating pre-sale, Sotheby's pre-sale estimate for the fossils $5 million to $8 million. So we got that. We can do that.
I mean, I'd buy it, Scott, but I just don't have a good place to put it. Is the problem? So
no, right? Why would you
really,
buy it if you
that's
can't
it.
display
Yeah.
it? Exactly.
That's the one issue.
Also, it's weird to me that somebody privately owns this currently. That's weird to me.
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel like dinosaurs should probably be public domain?
Belongs in a museum.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like owning a bald eagle, right? You can't own a bald eagle.
Yeah. So why should you own a dinosaur?
see.
Dinosaur bones feel like they're just too rare and too. I don't think one guy can go, it's mine. I found it in my backyard. It's mine.
I found it. Yeah.
Although if I found it and it was my backyard and I was going to sell for $8 million, I'd probably be okay with it, I guess.
You'd probably be just fine with that and
Yeah.
say, I own it, but I'm selling it. You
Yeah.
can buy it.
And I'll bet it ends up in a museum will probably buy it, is my
For
guess.
sure. Yeah, I
Like,
don't
who
see
else
a
is gonna buy
private
this?
collector saying, dinosaur bones? Sure. I guess I'll buy those.
Yeah, I got 10.
Michael Jackson isn't around still to put that next to his Elephant Man skeleton.
I have a giant room that I don't use that I could fit a huge creature in. Why not?
All right, I'll just put this in the foyer.
Yeah. Or the foyer. I don't know which it is.
Foyer.
How are we supposed to say that? Because I say
I think
foyer.
foyer.
Do you?
Do you?
I say foyer. Do you?
I think we both said it the first way. We both flip-flopped to the other way, and then we both said, do you? At the same time. That was great.
That was pretty good. But I've always said
think
foyer.
it's one of
I will
those-
always say foyer. So screw the French way of saying it. I don't want to say it that
I
way.
think you can pronounce it both ways, right? Foyer.
I'm going to do whatever I want. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, or foyer.
So if some French guy or
I'm going to put
Quebecy.
in the foyer.
Yeah, but foyer just sounds like I'm trying to be too dandy about
Like
it. You know?
hoity-toity, yeah. Yeah, if you look at dictionary.com, it is a double pronunciation. Foyer and foyer.
All right. Well, I'm going to say foyer.
So,
So
yeah.
take that.
I say foyer.
Yay! Where are you going to meet me? In the foyer.
In the foyer.
All right, check this out. Oh, that thing. So yeah, it'll sell.
I better call my lawyer to see if that's the right pronunciation.
Yeah, I don't know if you're lawyer. Wait, that's an old Jerry joke.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where he says, "Oh, it's funny." He talks about how people will
Clearly.
say it that way, and then he's like, "Oh, let me talk to my lawyer." It's like that, like
Oh,
lawyer.
really? Oh, really? I made a Jerry Seinfeld joke without even trying.
If Captain Kipper's here, he will find this clip, and we
Yeah.
will see.
He is here, and I'm sure he's desperately searching for it right now.
That's what he does. All right, one final story I think we have time for. This one. North Korea is blaming alien things, that's their quote, from South Korea for COVID-19 outbreaks. So they're having a massive outbreak again in North Korea, and they're claiming
They think it's because of alien things.
yeah, but specifically alien things that are being put in balloons and sent over the border by the South Koreans to infect
Gotcha.
them.
So they don't really mean like space aliens. They just mean alien to our country, like things are from an outside country.
That's a really good question. I mean, their wording is this. North Korea claimed its first COVID-19 outbreak began after 2 people touched alien things, according to state media, blaming exposure to what they said were the virus-tainted balloons that had been sent over the border by South Korea. An 18-year-old soldier and a 5-year-old kindergartner contracted the virus in early April after coming into contact with some materials that had traveled by wind or carried by balloons in the border area. That's what they're saying. That's not what happened. That's not how this thing transmits.
Sure, yeah.
Let's see.
Science. I mean, whatever.
It says the conclusions were carried out by an investigation carried out by North Korean medical experts. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
2 people had contracted the virus in the southeastern province of Kwangwon, which shares a border with South Korea. So, yeah, they got it the way everybody gets it. Somebody somewhere breathed on somebody else, y'all. But also, I think the other thing people are reminding everybody is like, they're claiming this is their first outbreak. It's not. There's no way this is their first outbreak. They had a way bad one before, and they tried to cover it up.
I mean,
they just covered it up. That's what they do.
Exactly.
Here in North Korea,
we are such a walled garden here. No, nothing's getting in. I can't believe your virus-tainted balloons made it into our culture to
our alien things. Yeah, what the hell? All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, my sister Wendy's back in town and has an answer to an email that we procured from a listener. So yes, that's right. Therapy Thursday's back, but not before we play a song. So Brian, play that song.
Yeah, Philly is where we're going today for some grunge pop. This is a quintet called Time. They have a brand new single called In Your Head. Big thanks to Clarion Call Media for sending this one out to me. Their debut album is called Hydrangea. It's going to be available on Friday, July 22nd. Listen, if you like bands like Catherine Wheel or Broken Head or Only Sibling, you're going to love In Your Head by Time. Here it is right now.
My neighbor with the enormous boobs is outside topless, doing things around the house. 3rd time this month. I'm not sure that his wife is aware that he does it.
The Morning Stream, Batman.
And we're back, everybody. Who was that again?
That was a band called Time. They're from Philadelphia. They have a brand new album coming out later this month called Hydrangea, and that is the first single from the album, and it is called In Your Head.
In Your Head. In Your Head. Not that song.
Yeah, I know. No, it's not the Zombies, no.
Okay. I still love that song.
Or, I mean, not the Cranberries and not the song Zombie.
Yeah, not the... Exactly.
Not the Zombies either, for that matter.
That's right. None of those.
Yeah, none of that.
All right, we're ringing my sister, Wendy, with an I.
Back from a hopefully a grand time.
Yeah, 3 weeks away, really, in
out of the country.
Out of the country. Spent time in Finland and Sweden, Iceland, I believe.
Awesome.
Yeah, all the Iceland or the what's the word I'm looking for? Not Icelandic. What do you call it up there?
Scandinavian countries.
Yeah,
sure.
Most of them. Not Germany and stuff, but yeah, most of them.
Yeah.
Well, she's not answering, so she probably forgot how this works. It's been a while.
Yep.
And I'm not here to, judge.
I mean, you answer when a phone rings, you answer a phone.
Right. Up till now, there's never been anything like this technology.
Feels like pretty consistent technology. I don't know. What do I know about that?
Maybe she's muted.
Maybe.
I'll pause
no, she hasn't ansred yet.
Or,
still the rings of ringage. Has the ringer muted?
Maybe her ringer's muted. I'm going to text her just to make sure.
Okay.
Because I talked to her last night. Everything was good, so let's see.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
There. Okay. Let's see what she says. Well, chat room, while we wait for Wendy, I'll tell you what I had for a beverage this morning. All right?
Oh, please do.
All we had left was V8 normal, low sodium V8, which is not the spicy kind. It's not the kind I like. We accidentally bought a bottle of it. So Kim says, don't you worry. And she went and got some ice because it was warm in the garage where the bottle was. Got some ice, filled it up, put a bunch of pepper in there.
Okay.
And then also put just a little bit of the some lime bitters that she got for making, what do you call them? I forgot the lime thing she likes. Anyway, some lime bitters, little drops of that. And then she put in some hot sauce of some sort.
Okay. That was the one I was waiting for. Okay.
Hot damn, dude. It's so good.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. Better than just the regular spicy V8?
Yeah, I kind of like it more. I think I might do my own mix.
Yeah, no kidding.
My own little recipe. Oh, there she is. Hi, Wendy. Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Sorry, that's why I texted. We were calling it, but it wasn't picking up, and I thought maybe you forgot how to do this.
I was yelling at children in the other room.
Oh, that's too bad. I mean, they're out of school.
Over the sound of
There's
You can yell at children here if you'd like.
Yeah, sure.
Do you guys have any children I can yell at?
I mean, there's
not
the
immediately.
tadpole, which is just a blanket case of
Yeah.
children.
Yeah. Are we talking maturity children? Are we talking? Because, real quick here, I saw a video going around from Minnesota on the 4th of July where there's a open top car and some guys ripping through town. I don't know where it was, somewhere in the city, one of the cities, firing off like big Roman candle fireworks at people on the street. Nothing to do with the horrible the actual shootings that happened in other places, but this just seemed crazy to me. And all I could think of was, what if that was Abraham? What would Wendy do if Abraham, her son Abe, was doing that? What? Yeah. What would you do? What would be the punishment at the house there?
Oh, there would be a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He'd be big trouble.
I don't know. That's awful. I mean, so we have, growing up in Salt Lake, you'd be like, oh, did you go to Wyoming to get your fireworks? We have that here, and it's Wisconsin.
Really?
Yeah, that's where you get the Roman candles. You can't buy Roman candles in Minnesota.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know you guys had
Does
stricter
every
stuff.
state have their neighboring state?
Yeah, I think so. Like
Lawless?
they've figured out mathematically the fewest number of states that need to sell fireworks in order for every state to have one at their border.
Yeah. And when Wendover's like double duty now, because people go there to get their fireworks like they always have for decades, but now they also get their weed there and their edibles.
Right.
Yeah, because it's
the
legal there.
gambling.
And they're all their gamblings and their whatever. So it's a perfect little add-on to Utah and its stringent reputation. Just boink, there it is. Go get your weed and get your fireworks, but don't do them at the same time. All right. Hey, how was before we get going? Europe was good. Everything was great.
It was amazing. Yeah. Ooh.
You
Hard
didn't
to
feel.
come back, folks. Hard to come back.
I'll bet it was, especially the stuff happened while you were gone. Did you? Was there any kind of like extra security stuff going on with Finland joining NATO and the Russian stuff and all that, or was it just nothing?
No, we went to Finland first and spent some time with a guy there he was a friend of Adam's from a long time ago, but he has been a tour guide all over the world. That was his job for many years. So he is like the tour guide. And I should send you a picture. It will freak you the crap out. Sorry, I'm not answering your question. We were within about 30 kilometers of the Russian border. We were on the eastern side.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and we went to this really cool, Imatra is what it's called, this city that back in the day was like a destination for Russian royalty and, people from all over.
That's where they get their fireworks and their weed.
This was that,
Yeah.
but what it was is this water was released from a dam and came rushing by, and they would just have thousands of people watching it all summer long. Anyway, I was like, oh man, they needed the internet back then. But it was awesome. But it meant we were pretty close to the border. It's not like we noticed much of anything, but every Finn has to do some military service. And so we just asked him about how, these guys, they know Russia. They've fought Russia so many times. They're the most prepared group in the world to handle Russians.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know about the 100-Day War, the Winter War. So while the world is distracted by Hitler, the Russians are like, time to get Finland. And so there was 1 million Russians attacked in the winter, which, by the way, if you've met a Finn, do not attack them in the winter. First of all, they're tougher than nails, and that's their jam.
Yeah, they love it.
So they basically wore white camouflage and skied, and it was 100,000 Finns against 1 million Russians, and they
won. Yeah, it's like always reminds me of the Viet Cong and the jungles. It's like we just completely underestimated that. We had no idea.
Don't even think. Anyway, but he was sharing just some of the stuff, like the bridges all have self-detonating bombs built into them, so that if they need to trigger and lock out any transports, they can. And like he just told us a couple really cool stories about historically, like one time a Russian convoy just kind of went all the way in, and they blew up the bridge, and they were just sitting ducks. Like they've just never outsmarted the Finns, and they're pretty prepared, and they always have been. And the joke is that Sweden just like plays ping pong while the rest of the world is, in battle.
Yeah.
And so they've just always been that front. But I don't think Swedes don't pay attention much to stuff. Truly, they're kind of like, should we be in or out? I don't know. Whereas Finns are, they're serious, and in a moment you could have one out of every, I don't know, you'd have 1 million soldiers ready because they're all trained.
Did you eat anything weird over there? Borka fish or some kind of
weird?
Oh,
we ate this loaf of bread with fish baked in it.
Oh my
Lord.
Lord.
That was interesting. I'll say that. It's kind of
Yeah,
good.
it sounds horrible.
But here's where, and you can post this because it is the weirdest thing, and I don't remember the guy's name. There is. That's why I'm debating whether I should really tell you. Anyway, we're in this weird part of eastern Finland, and we stop at this park, and it's like it's not a park, it's like a artist. Feels like a commune kind of, and as you walk in, you're seeing some funky sculptures, and they're just kind of weird, and you're like, okay, whatever this is. And then you get going, and then there is I don't know, maybe a quarter of an acre, maybe smaller, of hundreds of life-size people doing yoga, like they're statues. Okay. And they're super realistic, and you're just kind of like, what? That's kind of freaky. And then you just keep going, and I will send you a picture of one. You just keep going, and it turns out this dude collected teeth from his relatives and put them in the statues.
Oh, okay.
So there are statues with human teeth.
So they're not made of teeth. They have the teeth. They feature the teeth of dead relatives.
Yes.
Okay.
Of real people. So I'm just gonna send you.
You sending this text or Discord, or where are you doing?
I'll send it to a text. That'll just be easier.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever's easy.
Okay. These are just 2 of them. These are not even the scary ones. And those are just real teeth.
Okay, let's see.
And then a dentist in town would just give him teeth, and like it's. Can you imagine going to this place at night?
Oh my gosh, this is horrifying. Look at this, chat. This is nuts. Hold on. Ooh, those are people's real, but the sculptures are so not realistic that it makes it worse somehow that there's real teeth in there.
It's so creepy.
Ugh.
Can you imagine going like, okay, but I'm going to send you these quick ones of the yoga field. It's just realistic yoga poses.
I wish the chat,
anyway,
or I wish people at home could see these. I'll put them up on Twitter or something, but the I don't know how to describe this. It's a really weird looking thing.
Yeah, it was terrifying. And as we were leaving, we're taking all these pictures, we're freaking out. And as we're leaving, Elliot just goes, "Yeah, Mom, I'm not sure I'm gonna ever sleep again." I was like, "Dude, you should have told me earlier. I would have protected you." It was very weird. Anyway, so it was a blast, but strange. And Finland was lovely. And
oh wow,
you wouldn't know.
Elliot, that's a very Elliot thing to hear, by the way, that he would say that. Like, that's adorable.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah, look at this. Holy schmear, dude. Look at the craziness. This is crazy. Oh,
and it's him. They're all modeled after him. He really liked yoga.
I guess.
And so, yeah.
So wait, were these trees? These are trees, or they were trees. Were they just cut down trees and then sculptured in place?
Those are sculptures made out of whatever.
Oh, I don't even
material.
know what to say about
like
it.
Stone.
I feel like this is a horror movie just waiting to get made.
I know. Why don't they do it?
That is
it's so
wild.
funny.
Brian, you can't see these because they're not in Discord, but I'll send you these later. They're amazing. So freaking rad.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Sorry. Right. There's my little film.
No, I love it. That was really good.
Sure. Captive audience. Let's show the slides from your recent trip.
That was really cool. All right. Well, we're going to get to an email here that we got from somebody. Before we do that, I got a quick, easy question for you from another listener. Sure. I haven't warned you about this because I thought it'd be more fun, but his name is Robert from Hendertucky, and he says, I'm curious how Wendy would answer this. Would you rather? I don't think it's a full Therapy Thursday segment, but I was wondering how a therapist would approach this with the perspective of trauma. It says this: would you rather experience a surgery with no anesthesia, but after have no memory of it, or have general anesthesia but have full memory of it? So would you rather have, like, if you know, I think it makes sense, but like if you're in total pain while it's going on, but you don't remember after, which actually happens to a lot of people, I think, or the other way around, which would you prefer? Who knows why he thought of this, but I love it.
That's such a great question. If I've just quickly think it through, it would be the body. There's a great book out there if anyone's been through some trauma. It's called Keeps the Score. Keeps the Score.
Keeps the score. Okay.
Yeah. So really painful, difficult, chronic stress can do this, traumatic events can do this. Your body will really store it. So to really go through all the pain and then just not remember it, well, your body's going to remember it.
Okay.
And in some, I don't mean this in any kind of weird hippy dippy way. Like it just is like, what it's like to wake up after a rough day of baling hay. Your body remembers that you did that yesterday. Like there is some ramifications that way. So I don't love that one, but then the other way around, I don't have a great imagination. So I'm like, what would it be like to remember? Is it going to be traumatic? Like, was it a terrible surgery? Are you watching the doctors tell jokes and drop their gloves in your body? I mean, like, what about that is traumatic to remember?
Right. I'm reminded of a Seinfeld episode where Jerry goes to the dentist, and when he's starting to come out of the happy gas or whatever that they've had him on, he's blearily seeing the doctor and the nurse putting their clothes back on.
Right.
That's a nightmare for me.
That
like
is
that's
a nightmare.
Just
that
the
is
concept.
like you're kicking out of bed, you're jumping out of bed situation.
Just horrifies me to even think about that.
So my answer is remember it after.
Yeah. Wow. So no pain at the time, but remember it after. Yeah. Like, because you wouldn't have it's not like you'd relive the pain. You wouldn't have the pain because the pain didn't happen while you were having it.
Actually, might be kind of fascinating to see what it would be like to remember the operation.
I would like to have that for my colonoscopy. How many jokes did they make? That's what I want to know.
You know what's crazy? And I'm not going to tell you what it said, but a nurse told me later what a doctor said after I was out.
Oh, no way.
And it was a joke. And it was funny #MeToo movement.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Not so funny now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she just told me like, oh, is that funny? And I was like, ah. And then later I was like, oh, wait a minute.
It's not funny at all. Dr. A-hole.
But anyway, But that, they're not supposed to tell, I guess.
I guess not.
But anyway,
Okay. All right. Well, let's get to the real question. Yeah, the real question's good. Here's one from Blue. Nothing wrong with yours, Robert. We just had some fun with it.
Yeah, wait.
Blue Crucial wrote in. That's the name we're going to go by here. It says, hello, Scott, Brian, and Wendy. I had a question for Therapy Thursday. It might be a bit broad, but I've always been interested in what Wendy's insight might be. I'm a male in my late 30s. I'm single, never married, no kids, and a recovering alcoholic. I've been sober for almost 6 years. After rehab, I entered both group and one-on-one aftercare therapy once per month. It has been helpful, but there is one main thing I struggle with even 6 years later. So much of the recovery process aims to help us learn that we deserve to be happy or deserve to be loved. I struggle a lot with this concept because no one has ever convinced me that everybody deserves any of this simply because they exist. So much therapy I've been to seems to assume, quote, you exist, therefore you should have all the things. But this feels like a big assumption just because I was born and suddenly I am owed all of the things, question mark. Sometimes it feels like, quote, you deserve to be happy, unquote, is something that clicks with everyone but me and is holding me back from getting the most out of my recovery. Does Wendy have any ideas or advice on how to accept this idea or maybe another approach to finding happiness? Love the show, though. Sincerely, Blue Crucial. So this is a really great question.
Yeah. Great question.
Guys been through some stuff, been down a road for sure. And we're not used to getting questions on this side of the road.
Right.
Because, all the therapy in the world, and you're still going to come through with some questions or some, stuff or whatever. So I really appreciate this one. So where do you want to go with Blue Crucial, and where do we send this person?
Yeah. So first of all, just to acknowledge that this is a thing where you may feel like the only one in the room who just doesn't buy into a concept that everyone else seems to be buying into, right? And we've all maybe experienced this a little bit. But we've definitely all had at least a few experiences where we don't even notice that someone else is having that experience because we really buy into whatever is going on, right?
Right.
So a great way to test where your lines are is to we went to this flea market in Iceland. It was amazing. And this lady was like straight up selling dragon's breath and she was in full witch costume. It's not costume, it's her, right?
Sure.
And, her agenda was clear that she was going to create a coven and invite everyone in. Like, it was her thing, and it was right. And I walked over there, looked at a couple things, and was like, yeah, I don't belong in this space. This isn't like, this is where I am not going to jive. But someone else will go and just be like, finally, my people, right? So we're experiencing this to some extent all the time. Now, when you're in the world of treatment, especially recovery, AA has been king for a long, long time, that model, right? Which is there's a higher power and you've got to, you're powerless and do all these steps. And it's been really effective for a lot of people. It has also not been effective for some people. And usually those folks there's a tendency to struggle with the higher power piece. Because they're not religious at all, or they that doesn't quite, like, they don't tap into some universal spiritual force or something. It's like they're hearing everyone speak a different language. And so for them, maybe a different treatment model is better. It sounds like this guy has had some good success with treatment, but where he's running into this moment of like, is that the deserve of good things. So I want to say one quick thing about how many leaping billboards I've seen that say you deserve something. Like, it's the most annoying form of advertising because he's right in this sense. And I think it's been abused a little bit of just like, you deserve all wonderful things. It's kind of a pendulum swing for reasons, which I'm going to ask him some questions to be curious about.
Okay.
Sort of the pendulum swing of, being raised by the quiet generation and boomers. I mean, have you met a more entitled group, right? Where I deserve all the good things because my dad never talked to me.
Yeah.
And I will take over your ski resorts. That's my pet peeve. Okay. So, you know what I mean? You know what I'm getting at though?
Yeah.
Like this way of like trying to recover something because prudence or stinginess or lack or whatever it might have been, insecurity was maybe how they were raised, who they were raised by, some segment of the culture they were part of. And there is this real question about what they deserve. So some of the swinging maybe has gone too far. Like, do you deserve a break and a chocolate chip cookie or whatever? Like, whatever those things might be. Okay, maybe, I don't know. But that is the way advertisers sort of tap into this thing. So the question is, and this is true for everyone, and I do this a lot with clients, just trying to figure out what their deserve level, in quotes, is. What do they think they deserve or not? Because it's very individual, sort of what this is actually about for somebody. Having it talked about in a recovery setting is, I mean, there's some nuances there that I will say in a second, but just it means like you're running into someone saying, hey, what's your deserve level, without letting you process it through. You're just feeling like, nah, that this is too many people thinking they deserve all the things. Like, do I? And then it sounds like it's maybe psychologically getting in the way of fully embracing recovery, because there is this piece that just doesn't fit. So let's take, for example, all right, I'm going to ask you two. What don't you deserve? Just throw something out.
Oh my gosh.
What don't I deserve?
My wife.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, very good answer.
I really don't.
I agree. I don't deserve your wife either.
That's a hard question. What do I don't deserve?
Yeah. And usually the way you can kind of detect this is when someone is trying to do something for you, or someone is complimenting you, or someone is taking away a job you're used to doing, or helping you in a way that you would never ask for. Maybe it's those moments, right?
Man, I don't know, because I try to, even if I don't always succeed, I try to always do the right thing. And shouldn't that put me on a level of like, yeah, even if you don't get the breaks all the time, you do deserve them, but you may not get them all the time, but you do deserve them because you always try and do what's best and what's right. And like the other night we were at trivia, and okay, admit it, I ordered an ice cream sundae for dessert after
you wild man. Oh my gosh.
After a wrap, after eating a wrap, a chicken wrap. And the guy forgot to put on the bill, and like, oh, well, it'll be really easy just to kind of say his loss, whatever. but I did, I tried to do the right thing, and I felt good for doing the right thing. But the other people at the table were like, "What are you doing? Don't do that." So I guess that means that I deserve it and they don't. The other people at the table don't deserve good
You
things.
deserve dessert. Right. Right. Which is very
but trying to do the right thing all the time, I feel like you do deserve breaks even if you don't get them. You won't always get them, but
so then the opposite has to be true. You deserve bad things.
Yeah, that's true. Right. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This is
it feels like
deserve.
deserve.
Other people do. I can give you a list of people who deserve.
You're
bad
doing
things.
a great job of explaining this. I love this.
I've got a whole list of people that let me pull up on
my problem with deserve. The term of deserving things or not deserving things, it comes from this place of relativity. Like there's. What do you mean deserve? You do deserve this? Why? Okay, well, you don't. Why?
Like it supports the entitlement, right? Like,
yes.
Well, I got up this morning and I didn't run over somebody with my car, so I totally deserve a free lunch.
Right. And so some of it, I mean, if you can just imagine, everyone's at a different place on this scale of what they think they deserve or not. Yeah. And it can be different. Like, you may not think you deserve this, and at the same time you have a high sense of I deserve something, maybe I deserve love. Okay. Yeah. But I don't deserve to be successful financially, or vice versa, or some version of a variety of those things. And this is why I think therapy is like endlessly interesting, is that it helps people go through and figure out the whys behind their proclivities or the subtle differences here or there. And does it make a massive change to understand your deserve level? Maybe not. But I'm going to guess he didn't say anything about his alcoholism in terms of, okay, so a couple things. Addiction thrives in particular situations, and it's usually ones where we are not getting something we need. And not to say there is not a genetic connection, and not to say that there are other reasons, and that's another show. I want to talk about what deprivations emotionally, psychologically, or whatever may have gone on for somebody that addiction solves. So I've talked about this a long time ago, but the rat park, do you guys remember me talking about the rat park where the rats?
Bit.
Yeah, the rats can have, they give two groups of rats, two different situations. One is rat park, where they can have sex all the time. They can run around free, anything they want to eat. They're just comfortable and safe. There's no stress. And they give them cocaine water and regular water. And the rats will have cocaine water like on the weekend. Like, that's it. And they just have it. They can take it and leave it. But then you put a rat in a box with nothing and starve it of social interaction and connection. Rats are very social. And it will drink that cocaine water till it seizes and dies. And not to say that's exactly what happens to humans, but it really is relevant. So I don't know why this person got to the point where they were considered an alcoholic and had to get sober, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to assume in some of the therapy, he has figured out some of those connections of what his rat park needs to look like versus the isolated cage he can't be in, because then, in terms of my metaphor. Now, in some of that, the closed-in cage without what you need might be something about deserve. Because I would agree with him wholeheartedly that there is the pendulum has swung a little too far in the I deserve category. But I would like him to challenge himself a little bit to go deeper into his particulars of what deserve means, right? So, for example, in somebody's family, like a financial deserve level might be a really obvious one for someone. So there's an example of a woman who her father was her favorite human, and he worked really hard and raised her alone, and money was always a struggle. Well, she gets through school, she gets her first job, and at about 8-9 months into her job, she just panics and quits and sabotages it. She can't figure out why. And then gets another job and does the same thing. And so she goes to therapy to figure this out. Going into therapy, realizing, and it's pretty unconscious and pretty deep, that as soon as she made $50,000, which is the most her father ever made in his 60 years of working, she did not deserve one more penny than him because
wild.
he was amazing, right?
Yeah.
And so she didn't even consciously know this. At one point, she got a job where she made $50,000 really pretty quickly and was like, "Oh no, something's happening." And then finally got help, right?
Yeah.
And then talked to her dad, who said, "No, you deserve more. All the things nope. This isn't a thing," and really helped relieve her this sort of burden she was carrying and hadn't realized that she didn't deserve to ever make more than her father. Was pretty deep rooted, right?
Yeah.
So that's where it gets fascinating. Like, what is the lesson he was taught about what he deserved? So I'm going to talk about a very general what humans need to thrive, and then you can put the word deserve on it or not.
Okay.
But a human needs caregivers, touch, food, shelter, safety. Bonding,
Maslow,
social, all the things. Yeah, it needs all those things. Does everyone deserve that?
Yeah, I mean,
I kind of think so.
Yeah, I think there's basic
basic
things.
needs, sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Problem
And
is
so
who determines what those are, but yeah.
True, but there are some you cannot argue with. You don't touch a child and you give it every other need, it will die.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some that are non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why abuse and neglect and physical violence and sexual violence towards a child are so damaging, because it's taking that very core need of touch that means we will live or die and perverting it or corrupting it so that it's loaded, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where, it's cliche to say you go to therapy and have to talk about your mother and your deep childhood issues. It's because that's where that stuff often got started, and you've moved into an adult realm using all your protective strategies. You had to use it to survive as a child. And one of those is escapism. And one of those is what you find in alcohol and what you find in other drugs is it lets you leave the psychological pain behind. Every single one of us is a drug addict if we have the right circumstances, right?
Yeah.
Because to escape that kind of pain is priceless. And so you'll do it. And to stop is incredibly painful. So it's with full compassion, I say all of this, that, I don't think he's wrong about that we don't deserve, I think we overly think we deserve a little bit. But I would say that is just a response to actually a lot of people not getting what they need. And that lack of understanding what you need and getting it kind of messes with this. So that's what I would have him explore, is just where did you learn about not deserving things? Like, what's the model in your family? Recently, I was listening to a podcast about generational money things of like, a great grandfather who was in the Great Depression, or a grandfather was in the Great Depression and saved every penny because the day he went to the bank, all of his money was gone. So everything was always paper money under a bed. And then how he raised his children, who then raised, 4 generations later or 3 generations later, this guy's like, I'm making plenty of money. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't spend a penny. Like it's kind of in your DNA. You've been raised in that soup.
Mm-hmm.
And to uncover some of that is very strange. It's to get out of the water of the fishbowl you've always been in and see the water. And that usually takes some help to do that.
Right. Well, it's super interesting because I hadn't really even considered some of this before, this idea of what you deserve, what you don't deserve. And you can become, the word isn't jaded, when you hear other people talk about, you deserve the best. Mm-hmm. And if you've got this mindset, you're thinking, no, why? And then you can get really down about it. I could see you getting really irritated with
it's almost like an imposter syndrome.
Yeah. In fact, it's just like that, except it's deeper. Like imposter syndrome to go like as someone who does a bunch of creative work, I know that feeling as much as anybody, this feeling of like, oh, I'm not actually any good and all this praise is nothing, I can't understand what's going on. There's that, but then there's this whole thing of like, I don't deserve a good job. I don't deserve a nice girl to meet. I don't deserve a nice marriage. I don't deserve nice kids. Like that's really destructive, it feels like, in the long term.
And somebody had to have taught you that.
Yeah.
And it may have been inadvertent, and it may, I'm giving people lots of credit for, you do your best you can to raise a kid, and you may not realize the generational trauma you're passing on, or that just how you survive is a message to that kid of, I don't deserve to be listened to. So like a way to think about an example of a child that was shut down a lot and just was like never given the microphone or a voice, may end up being an adult who is just hypersensitive to being cut off, or rambles or monologues, or is silent. Like, you can show up in a lot of different ways, but you can draw a line and eventually find back to where these trainings have taken place. And so deserve to have a voice, deserve to say yes or no, control over your own body, whatever it may be, those things stem from something. Mm-hmm. And so then they translate into good things happening in your life. So imposter syndrome can be related to this, of like, I'm getting praised for a thing I did, which is just little old me. Well, where do you learn that? And it's not only parents, it can be the society or the culture or the neighborhood you grew up in, thinking small, and anyone who gets uppity and thinks bigger, that we look down on them. So you've got a built-in critic that's going to try to save you from being rejected by your community. So don't get so big that, you forget who you are, or, you can just think of all sorts of, words or voices or teachers can do this. Like, there's just a lot of ways this can be built into somebody. And so for this guy, I don't know, this just keeps popping in my head, but I just think it's his dad. And that could be totally wrong. I'm sorry. I keep wanting to say, well, when your dad, isn't that weird?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've probably seen this enough that you probably know the usual signs.
And so what do you deserve? Or I mean, I just keep hearing like phrases in my head of just like, I'll show you something to cry about. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't deserve to have this feeling. Like, think of this in terms of any way you might interact with a young person that would tell them they don't deserve something.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm struggling with this right this second. I have a child who will remain nameless, who's a pretty entitled little piece of crap sometimes. And what's tricky is that, Adam and I did not have any of the things he has. And we went on a walk last night and went through some lists of like, what if our parents had said the same words we have said? Would you have passed out? I would have passed out. Mm-hmm. Just some of the benefits of, a life that with more resources than either Adam and I had. But we earned these resources. We've worked hard, that whole story. Mm-hmm. And you find yourself going, oh, wow, I'm really just telling my kid they don't deserve something automatically because I had to earn it. And that's really the basis for a lot of some of this parenting hand-me-downs that can happen, right?
Yeah.
It's tricky. So, and maybe this guy's done a lot of work on his family of origin and figured a lot of this stuff out. Maybe he could just turn the lens on the word deserve and like what it might have meant, and see if that doesn't loosen this up a little bit. And then it's perfectly okay to be a little bit annoyed that people overuse it, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. If it stops your progress, then you got to do maybe more digging, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But people are going to use phrases and do things based on, it's pendulum swinging is just the best way I can think of it.
Yeah. Plus, sometimes people just say stuff because that's what you say. Like you say, oh, like I was talking to a military friend the other day, it was in the Navy for 10 years or something. Yeah. And I said, how do you feel about it when people say, thanks for your service, just because they find out you're in the military? He says, oh, it drives me crazy. I can't stand it. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to say anything because I know that their hearts are in the right place. They don't know what else to say. Yeah. Like sometimes you have a fallback when a horrible thing happens. If you're super religious, you say, our thoughts and prayers are with you. If you're not, you say, best vibes coming your way. Like, what else are you supposed to say? Yeah. There's really very few things to say when it comes to that. So people fall on these, not tropes, but these
you don't want to say it's like, it'll pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it the headlights of the train or the light at the end of the tunnel? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that there's some of that in there, and the trick is to see it for what it is and not have it feel like a stab every time you hear it,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And when there is a stab, that's a great way to put it. That's a time to get curious.
Yeah.
So so clients will say this all the time. They'll say, why do blank, blank, blank? And then I'll say, all right, let's find out why. Because we say why and we don't ever keep going. We just go, why is this bugging me? Anyway, back to TikTok, right?
Right.
You know, but if you said, okay, why when I watch this TikToker, do I feel lonely? Do I feel sick to my stomach? Do I feel, whatever it might be? It's time to get curious. What nerve is getting hit? Because that's our stuff and our job and our world that, I think we often just keep getting pummeled and then don't necessarily do the work to figure out why we get stabbed when people are talking about deserve.
Is there any?
Maybe.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. No, I was gonna. You finish and then I'll tell you because
Okay.
It's different issue.
Okay. Well, just that maybe you were taught in no uncertain terms that nobody deserves anything because that was the way somebody handled not giving you what you needed.
I see. So, okay. So what I was going to ask is there anything he should ask a therapist for in terms of a kind of therapy? One of your fancy medical names you always tell us about, like I ask your therapist about such and such therapy or something, or is this just so generalized he's not going to get any kind of specialized help?
Well, he can anybody could work on this with him. It's a pretty common thing, But just I would just whoever he's working with just express this. Like, this has always bugged me. Can we explore it? I want to get more curious about it to see what this is about, because it's an unpleasant response trying to protect you, warn you, get your attention for some reason, and the real question is why? What does it need to protect you from?
Right.
And sometimes we need protecting from the things we were told. I've shared this before, but I had a client once whose mother was very abusive, and she every object she could find, she would create some weird. It feels like a Horcrux or something. She would make it evil. So she would only trashy people eat spaghetti and meatballs or something. And so this client had to go through, and forks put a certain way back in the drawer means you're a bad person. Or if you clean wrong, everything was so loaded with. So think about that. I can't even be a good person if I don't put the dishes in the right order.
Yeah.
Instead of maybe there's a better way to do it or whatever. Right. And so that's an extreme version of being told what you're worth or not, being told if you deserve a good thing or not. So a kid who doesn't get any Christmas presents and everyone else does is going to have a deserve problem. Right. Or whatever that may be. Maybe there was a sibling that got favored over this guy or something, that there is somewhere in there deserve got hijacked. And so it's just about being curious about it, figuring it out, healing from whatever that might be, and seeing if that doesn't give him relief in more ways than he might know. Because that may be what's actually stopping the progress, not that it bugs him. Everyone is talking about deserve level. It may be that it's really the trailhead to find the thing that's keeping him stuck.
Sure. Well,
because we don't need more. You deserve. That is not what we need more of.
We don't need that.
Actual feelings of valuation and loved and safe. Right. That's what we actually need.
Yeah. Some of this happens in school, right? Like a teacher.
Yes.
Can set you on the wrong path with the whole, Larry over here deserves it because he got an A on the last test. You don't because you got a B.
Or you're really bad at math. Or did you hear about this guy who just won the Fields Award? What is it? The award in math? You should read about him.
No, I don't know what that is.
Is it the Fields Medal of somebody help me?
I don't know.
Anyway, he's a young guy, and he dropped out of college because he wanted to do poetry, and he's just clearly a genius. But he talks about how he has maybe 2 hours worth of being productive a day, and he just blows him out, and he just has to rest and anyway, in 2019, he's doing nothing. And he just won one of the most prestigious awards in math.
Weird.
It's crazy. And you're what?
Yeah.
And sort of that idea of wait a minute, do we let that guy deserve this when you're supposed to work 1 million hours and nearly kill yourself to win awards, right? We have a very, our culture responds to our underlying deserved problems in particular ways, right?
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I was talking to somebody the other day about GEDs, and there was a person who had very unusual circumstances as to why they had to get a GED versus a regular diploma. They were fully qualified for their high school diploma, but they moved schools, and the school they moved to had weird restrictions that based on the time he moved there, they couldn't make a deal work where he could graduate with everybody else. And so it was either a bunch of summer school and stuff the next year or go get a GED and get going. So he opted for the second. He has amazing SAT scores, outperformed most everybody in his class. But because this thing says GED, it doesn't matter that it actually was more work for him to get it done than the other. It's has the
Everyone
stigma.
looks at it as a shortcut.
Yeah, it's like a stigma or like you were lame and had to do this separately or you were a problem child or whatever. I wish we would be less bad at that, you know?
Totally. Have him look up this dude and get inspired.
Yeah, get inspired by Lazy Math Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Well,
and if not all else fails, go to Eastern Finland and build sculptures and put human teeth in it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's what I was
And
gonna say.
weird eyes that collect moisture inside them.
Yeah.
I looked at those photos, man. That's wacky stuff.
I know.
Do not like.
I love Finland.
Do not like those images, but I love that you had a great trip and glad to have you back. Is there anything else going on you want to mention? No,
just
nothing at all?
trying to survive jet lag and America as it unfolds.
Yes, as it unfolds into a big weird piece of gross before it folds back into itself. I hope. We'll find out. Hey, Wendy, have a fantastic week. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Bye now.
Bye.
I forgot to ask her if she talked to my mom. My mom thought she got hacked the other day.
Oh, so did my mom.
And so, I don't think she did, but did your mom actually get hacked? Do you know? Mine didn't.
I don't think she did either, but we don't know for sure.
I think that generation just thinks they think things, you know? You know when
Yes,
you knew when they were growing up, they would say to us, Brian, Scott, don't believe everything you hear on TV. And now I have to tell my parents or my mom, don't believe everything you read on the internet. Like it's all flipped. It's flipped.
Totally.
They think it's all
I went
gospel.
to a website and a flashing pop-up said your machine has been hacked, and it jiggled around and flashed its help me button in red.
So I clicked it.
What
else should I do? Yeah. Oh man, the olds. Anyway, that's it for the show. A quick reminder: we got a lot of other content coming out this week, including today's 1 p.m. Coverville. Don't forget about that. It's live as well. Also, Core tonight at 5 p.m. Apparently, Kim scheduled the shot for right after the show today, so I will be
nice.
hopefully fine
I'm
for
getting,
Core, as far as I know.
I'm getting my nose waxed after the show and then getting my shot tomorrow. So let's see how we're all feeling over the next couple days.
Yeah, a little waxy, a little vaxy.
Little yank.
Yeah, a little wax and vax, we call it. I like it.
I'm gonna yell Kelly Clarkson when she pulls the wax out of my nose, by the way. I'm gonna do that today.
Yeah, do
Kelly
it.
Clarkson!
Yep, and they'll say, we've seen that movie, sir. Please never do that again.
Ha ha ha. You think you're not even the first person this hour to do that.
Well, you wax and I vax. I'll hopefully not have any repercussions before the end of the day, but Core should happen. So tonight, 5 p.m. Core.
Will
it
be 4 hours long tonight, Core?
No, just 2.5 probably. 2.5 hours.
Right.
Yeah. Just a nice, just shy of 3-hour affair, probably.
The length of Love and Thunder.
Yeah, that's about right. TMS PM, of course, on Tuesday or Friday, assuming all is well with vaxes and waxes. And what else? Oh, Guess the Connection. That's also on Fridays. So check that out. And Film Sack this weekend. We're doing Empire State. Empire State.
I'm in an empire state of mind.
Some sort of heisty movie. I don't think any of us have seen it.
None of the four of us have seen. This is brand new to all four of us, which is a rarity on Film Sack.
For sure. This thing's like, 10, 12 years ago?
It is. It also means we have no one to blame. If it's complete and total garbage, we can't say, Dunaway, why'd you pick this garbage?
Yeah, it's these we have to be careful. We have to listen to each other on the veto power.
Yes,
because who knows if it's going to be vetoable or not. But chances are Empire State this weekend. And, of course, there will be Dungeons this week. We'll be on Sunday because John's got some stuff, so we had to push it a day. Anyway, there's all that. Patreon.com/TMS is how you can support the show if you want cool benefits all the way up to the top level where, man, you really get a lot for very little. Check it out over at patreon.com/TMS if you're trying to email us, themorningstream@gmail.com. And for everything else, it's frogpants.com/TMS. We're now going to get out of here and do it by playing a song as we do it. Brian, what's the song we're going to play as we do it?
Okay. Doug Traster said, Herr Cover Music Bürgermeister.
Oh.
On July 8th, it will be 28 years since the most beautiful woman in the world said yes. All these years later, we have 4 great kids and are constantly rushing around, always working and just doing that grown-up thing. This year, the anniversary actually falls on the same day it was all those years ago. Would you play? I think he means like the day of the week.
Oh, I see.
Obviously, anniversaries always fall on the same day.
Yeah.
Would you play The Way Love Used to Be by Andy Bell? This song harkens back to a time of 2 carefree kids with their whole lives in front of them. By the way, is it too early to get a fish sandwich?
Oh,
Thanks
man.
for all you guys do. Signed, Doug T.
Do you want Brian or do you want... I'll give you both here.
Okay.
Do I have both? Hold on. Here we go. Here's Brian.
Hey, is it too early to get a fish sandwich?
And here's the real one.
Hey, it's too early to get a fish sandwich.
Brian's hey, is the only real difference.
It is the only difference.
The I like the in there. It's pretty good. Happy anniversary, you two. That's awesome. Congratulations. Well done.
So there are 2 great Andy Bells in music, maybe even more, but there are two that I know of. There's the one that's half of Erasure. He was, he's the vocalist, works with Vince Clarke, who's you just recognize his voice immediately and has been a mainstay in Erasure the whole time. There's also another one that is a member or former member of the band Oasis. He's also been part of the band's Ride, Hurricane No. 1, and is currently part of BDI, which is the new project by Liam Gallagher, because he just can't work with his brother anymore on anything. Noel's a dick. Anyway. I'm talking about I'm going to be talking about the latter Andy Bell. He has an album called Something Like Love, on which he covers the Kinks' The Way Love Used to Be. This is great, and it does have that kind of cool Britpop feel to it. Here is Andy Bell, The Way Love Used to Be.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
Shit! I'll get you close.
Oh.
What a great combination that is.
I don't remember that.
Wow.
Film sack something, but don't remember.
Yeah, don't remember it.
It's good stuff.
All right. Okay.